Assalamu alaikum and welcome to another episode of Checkpoint Coffee. This time it's going to be a special episode where we are going to be talking a bit about Elden Ring. We are going to speculate on it and talk about what we've seen and what we are expecting from the game, since the release window is just about a month away. And in the podcast this time we have myself and Zubair, and we also have Shimhaq joining in.
Thanks for inviting me. Let's talk about some Elden Ring.
Yeah,
Right, cool.
so we have two very prominent figures from the Maldivian Soulsborne community. I would say we have Zubair, who has platinumed almost all of the Soulsborne games, and we have Shimhaq, one of the most renowned Soulsborne artists. So let's start with you, Zubair. What were your initial expectations of Elden Ring?
Okay, so coming from a huge Soulsborne fan, this might be a bit of a surprise when I first heard the concept, right? Like this was an open world action adventure kind of approach they're taking. I had a bit of a skepticism on my part because, well, in the gaming industry, this kind of genre has become pretty commonplace, very saturated even to some extent, thanks to some companies like I would say Ubisoft making this a very generic formula, like go here, help friends, make friends, finish final mission kind of thing. So I felt a little bit worried when it first came out, the concept. And when I heard big names like George R.R. Martin was involved in this, again, a little bit of skepticism came to my mind because recently in the industry there has been trend where big names are attached to games just to sell it, although the game itself may not necessarily do very well. So I had my share of skepticism, but I am happy to say that I've been proven wrong. That the more and more stuff that I came to know about it, I got more and more impressed, and I liked what I seen, and now I am loving what it shapes out to be, and I can't wait to take a whack at it.
Yeah, that seems like a fair observation. I remember when that initial trailer first came out, and Zubair explicitly told me how I don't think about this. I don't think this is going to be it, man. Like all this hype and all this might not end up delivering. I remember me and Zubair
I
having
was
this
worried.
conversation.
I
Yes.
was worried.
What about
And
you,
as a fan,
Shimhaq?
Yeah, when I saw the first trailer, so like we were coming hot of Sekiro in about 2019, right? So already FromSoft had delivered on Dark Souls. They've delivered on a DLC for Dark Souls, which was insane. Means two DLCs, right? And then with Sekiro, actually, I like just to roll it back. Like with Sekiro, I was actually expecting a DLC, to be honest, because Sekiro was such a good IP. Actually, that might have been them testing a new engine, probably with the vertical elements of the game. But I really expected a DLC for it. They kind of delivered on it, but it wasn't a DLC. It was just like a boss run mode. So once I saw the trailer for Elden Ring, yeah, the entire thing looked insane. The art direction looked like it was going to be on another level. There was a lot of speculation. Like, as artists in the Soulsborne community, like, we were very excited because the art direction in all of these games are insane, right? But then they went cold for so long that
yeah.
we kind of went hollow, Like, I'm on the Reddit, Elden Ring Reddit as well. Like, people were just like, first initially when it came out, there was so much lore, there was so much art, and then it started sort of die down, and people were going hollow. And then we got hit with another trailer, and then it brought back life, right? And all of our faith was restored. It was almost like the
fire.
project was dead, right?
The fire was rekindled. Right?
Yeah, emboldened by the flame of ambition.
Yeah, that big E3 trailer it just came out of nowhere, and like that blew the entire Sourceborne community. Like it was the best
Yeah.
thing that has ever happened to the community in a while.
Like hold my ashes, right?
Yes.
Or hold my
Yeah,
ashes.
I was watching the game. Like, what was that? That was Game Awards, right?
Oh yeah, I think
Yeah,
was
that was Game Awards, right?
Yeah.
Summer Games, right?
Yeah,
Summer Games
Summer
Fest.
Games.
Yeah,
right.
so like I was watching it through on Vati's channel because he was doing the streaming for that one. So he was like, yeah, Jeff better not. It's like he was hinting at the entire thing, and then Ryan Reynolds came on. He was like, I'm not going to announce Elden Ring, and then he left. And then we were all like, "Come on, they have to show something. They have to give us something, or we're gonna blow this entire place apart."
People were expecting at least something of a small teaser announcement or something, but that was not what we expected.
It was
so
more
much-
than.
Yeah.
Yep.
Delivered. What did you think of the game when it showed the initial game, like the open world aspects of the Elden Ring?
I felt reassured. Like a positive reassurance. Like, okay, it's in good hands. It's in good hands. It's the first thing I felt, and I'm like, yeah, this is good. This looks good.
Can't believe when it came out, people were saying, "Oh, this is pretty much like Legend of Zelda: Breath of the Wild, but with Dark Souls." It has
Breath of the
bad about
Souls.
that? What
Breath of the
exactly is
Souls.
bad about that?
Yeah, exactly, Zubair. Like people were saying it's like big Dark Souls or Dark Souls. So I was thinking, but we're getting a new From Software game. What is
Yeah,
bad
yeah.
about that? Like we're getting From Software games. Like what are you complaining about? Like what is
Yeah.
going on right now?
FromSoft is probably one of the few guys out there who have hit home runs consistently.
Exactly, yeah.
Even their worst, in my opinion, even their worst being Dark Souls 2 was still a good game. Like maybe it wasn't great for some people, maybe it wasn't great for by Dark Souls standards, but my God, I'd be damned if I didn't say it was a great game. It was a good game.
I think that's the problem actually. Like that it's standing together with Dark Souls and other Soulsborne games, so it looks bad. But you put anything up against a From Software game, and I think they can hold their own. I can say that From Software games have ruined other games for me. So I have a hard time playing games right now. Like
It's true.
I played Witcher Wild Hunt after I played Bloodborne. So I played it on the hardest difficulty, but
Yeah.
it didn't feel like the hardest difficulty. So it's kind of like very good at ruining game. From Software is good at
I've
ruining other
actually
games for
said
you.
this. I've actually said this to the guys at the Game Awards, even when this came on. I said next year's orchestra. Like I'm a huge fan of the orchestra, right? Like Game Awards
Yeah.
orchestra, like the game
Yeah.
game of the year medley. So I'm like
Yes.
thinking, like the next year's medley is gonna be amazing. Elden Ring, Breath of the Wild 2, God of War, Horizon Forbidden West. Like I'm gonna have an out of body experience with this one. And I've said this. I feel like the one game that can reasonably and probably even beat out God of War for Game of the Year, that's Elden Ring out there. I feel like it's gonna come down to these two.
I think I can say that confidently, because I played like God of War. I'm kind of late on God of War. I played it like last year. Sorry, this year. I played it this year. But I'll tell you what, it didn't do that much for me. It was good. I played it up till the last boss. I killed Sigrun, right? Like they were saying, she is one of the toughest bosses in all games. But yeah, like not. It was good.
manageable.
It was good.
Yeah.
Yeah, FromSoft does this thing where like it really sets a standard, and then to compare, like even intentionally when you're playing other games, you really compare them to Dark Souls, Sekiro, Bloodborne. Most of the time
Yeah,
you're felt with a
Created that genre, right?
yeah.
I did tell Ayud Tausin, like Ishin basically ruined final bosses for me.
Yeah.
Wait, you finished Sekiro, right, Tazin?
Yeah, I've done it all. I've done it all.
Yeah.
Only
I
Demon Souls left.
Yeah.
I finished all of the Dark Souls games and Sekiro. It's just Demon Souls and Bloodborne that's left because of the porting. I play on the
Okay.
I'll say,
I play on the
I'll
PC
give you
and
my PS5 if you want, please. Play Bloodborne.
There's a account on Twitter that says that tweets every day. Bloodborne hasn't been released on PC port day
follow that.
XXX.
I follow that Twitter handle.
They've been, I think, tweeting now for almost over 200 plus days. Every day they post saying it's not been ported to PC.
There was like some speculation recently that it was going to be announced because Sony made PlayStation Studios, I think they were trying to port out some games like
Mm.
Dawn, Horizon Zero
It's
Dawn,
like a
and then
competitor for Steam, right? Something like
yeah,
that. Mm.
yeah, something of the like. And then like there was hope that with this we are going to expect Bloodborne as well, but no, unfortunately that was not the case. I was so hyped up for the announcement, but it was just God of War, which isn't bad. I mean, I'm gonna get it, but it's not Bloodborne.
I'll give you one example of why they won't do that, Tasin. I bought two PS4s to play Bloodborne 2. So they've sold two PS4s because of Bloodborne, because of me. Imagine how many PS4s Bloodborne has sold because they keep it exclusive. This
Yeah.
is their marketing point.
It works,
Yeah.
I guess.
I think we've been talking about other FromSoft games a bit too much, but
And can't blame anybody for that.
yeah. So when Elden Ring was announced, we seen some really wicked sorcery back in play again. There's some people concerned because sorcery is the thing that always seems overpowered in some Dark Souls games, and in other games it seems a bit underpowered. What do you guys think of this? It seems like there's a big sorcery comeback that's going to be with the next FromSoft game.
I think one of the interesting things that came out with not just the sorcery bit, but with regards to other spells and other kinds of equipment and items that the player can customize themselves with, is the knowledge that now these kind of stuff, sorcery, spells, etc., this stuff isn't as locked into a character class as they used to be. I think one of the biggest things that came as a piece of a good news or mixed news, depending on who you ask, is that the world is very large and very vast to the point where skill acquisition is kind of tied to the exploration that you do. So there are things out there, spells, sorceries, and stuff that are out there. If you go out further enough, if you look, in nooks and crannies and places, you can find yourselves with the skills and sorceries and stuff which you can equip yourself to get even more customization than before. So I feel like the other elements that are included in the game. I mean, I'm a huge mechanics guy for everybody who knows this. I feel like this is going to add a lot of interesting dynamics into the whole game.
Yeah, with sorcery, there's also like weapon arts that seems a bit interesting, with a lot of customizable runes. I think.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
I think FromSoft is really good at doing this one thing. Like they're very good at making you like something when you don't like it. So like they did the same thing using Bloodborne to make people like their games, right? So like even myself, like I don't usually play sorcery when I play even my Dark Souls or even Bloodborne. I wasn't using Arcane. I wasn't using
I hear ya.
anything else in Sekiro. But what they showed in Elden Ring, even in the gameplay trailer, right? It got me really excited to play it. Like the spells look insane, man. Like the lightning spells, the cosmic, the gravity ones, the ones with the like
That
purple
snake
sort of
one.
area. Yeah, they look insanely good. Like
The summons, right?
Yeah. No, not even the summons, Zubair. The cosmic, the gravity sort of ones that you can do, where they like you can even summon meteorites from like just from the sky, like they just summon meteorites, right? And you get the sort of like that purple sign before you cast those spells. It shows like what sort of class of spells that you're using, right? I think that's the equivalent of Arcane in Elden Ring.
There is a spell. There is an arcane art in Bloodborne which is similar to that. I think Star Shower, was it something like that, right?
Call Beyond.
Yeah, Colbion.
Yeah.
Yeah. One thing that really struck me was how interactive the open world was. For instance, you can just go on about your adventure and you can engage in the world in so many different ways. It's not like linear. You can approach a dungeon in multiple ways, like either stealth or you can go like head on into the area. And there was also this one dragon. Oh yeah, the dragon. That was the highlight of the gameplay
Open
trailer
world
for me.
area,
I think
yeah.
like
I heard
it
people
actually
already-
tracks you, right?
Yeah, and I heard people already started cheesing it.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, I saw one guy drop it down a cliff in one of the network chess games. Like, but you know what? That one reminded me of, guys. Skyrim. like in Skyrim, you get these random dragon encounters when you get far
Yeah.
off into the game.
Yes.
It's sort of like exactly like they just fly in from the sky, and then you'll have to start fighting them.
And these are not Skyrim-sized dragons. These are like what huge dragons.
Yeah,
big
massive.
ones.
Yeah.
Monster
Yeah.
Hunter-sized ones.
That's true. And we've also have different character classes this time, right? Some new ones, I think.
I feel like there some of them are different names for more similar handles that we might have had before, like paladins, but then again we see some new names and new classes as well. Like I think Shimhaq and I were just quickly touching on the Bloody Wolf right before we started off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Yes.
think with the game we'll get more classes as well.
Yeah.
Like, they just showed us 5 for maybe the network test's sake, but I think
Yes.
they're hiding a lot more. Like there's definitely a lot more.
Given how this game is big and is welcome into the customization aspect, I wouldn't be surprised that within a month or two of the game's release, the Reddits and community pages will already start having phrases and custom names and classes for builds. Like, trust me, that's just gonna happen. It's
they
inevitable.
they already have cults,
Yeah.
They already have
Yeah.
cults like Bloody Wolf cult. They have the
See?
enchanted knight cults. Like they're saying that Bloody Wolf is superior.
Yeah, see,
I'm gonna be playing as Bloody Wolf. That
Yeah.
armor looks insanely good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it does. Me, I'm more of I mean, like in previous Souls games, I've always had this funny situation where I want to start out light and nimble, but then I end up wearing the full-on Havel set, but then I still become very nimble and agile that I'm basically doing fast rolls and dexing myself around enemies while wearing a full-on Havel set. Yeah. And Shimon, just so
Yeah.
you know, I'm a bit of an over-leveler. I have a farming problem.
All right. I always like to keep it like
Yeah.
a challenge. It should be a challenge. I shouldn't be able to beat a boss maybe in just one go. Unless
Not one hit. Like
Yeah. Yeah.
I ensure that I don't put my attack power like to an over ridiculous point. I just invest a lot in the movement, just to make it more fun, So yeah, so I get the feeling that we start, and eventually I end up picking up one or two sorceries which are long range. So essentially, it's an unstoppable, machine at the end of it. But I don't know, like Elden Ring definitely is making me curious on the kind of classes that I could create, and that's a good thing to look forward to, and shows a good replay value, I think, too.
I think the Fashion Souls is kind of out of like gonna be insane this time, because I think in the network test they've already shown off like 10 or so sets of attire, right? So, and there's a lot more. You like the attire on that horse guy, the tree sentinel guy is huge. He looks like Kevel. Kevel had a baby with Gyobo from Sekiro.
Ooh, that's nice.
That's the guy roaming around in the open world, right?
Yeah, the guy you meet the moment you go into the world, and he's gonna beat you up.
Speaking of horses, like that's actually one quick thing I wanted to touch on the mechanics side of things in terms of gameplay. Like that is a very interesting addition. Like FromSoft has never actually had in-world transportation apart from your good old 2 feet. So this is actually a good. I think this is an interesting addition, and I've read it specifically and seen it that they have crafted the horse to be able to jump off a cliff. Take that, Skyrim, I feel like this kind of complements the idea that you can expect battlefields and enemies that operate, or even boss fights like the dragon, or who knows, maybe going forward multiple dragons, where you might have to fight on a very large field and manage yourself in very, very large attack ranges. So I think this is a good hint that we can expect some pretty large scale battles if the cutscenes and stuff that we've seen so far are anything to go by,
Yep.
Yeah, I agree, and it seems like you can even engage in some sort of jousting where, like, if you are on horseback and if the enemy is also on horseback, like, they actually engage in a sort of like a horseback battle, and mechanically speaking, it looks really good. But
8,000, $10
yeah.
bucks. $10 says that there will be a Reddit or an in-game community thing that will start with PvP jousting tournaments.
Horse only runs.
Was on
Yes.
runs.
The one thing that was really cool was during the gameplay trailer, they actually showed sorceries being done right on the horse. So like horseback sorceries, that was really cool.
Yeah.
Like in the dragon fight, they were doing horseback sorceries, right? Yeah, and then the double jump thing looks insane, very good.
Thing that segues well into the stealth and more agile aspects of the game too. Like that is something I really enjoyed from Sekiro, like the movement, agility, and the fact that you can equalize a very unfavorable battlefield by simply taking out a couple enemies from the stealth before you go all out there. So,
Did you do it stealthy though?
I did.
Did you do Sekiro stealthy though?
I did it both ways. When you got a platinum, you have to play the game at least one or two times, even if your saves come. So I decided to play it, nice once, and then I decided to go screw this. I got a sword. Come at me, everyone.
I gotta run in and just start destroying everyone in Sekiro. But unless there are firearm people, like then they just ruin the fight for you.
Yeah, they really do. Yeah.
I approached Sekiro differently. Like I had the mindset, okay, I am a shinobi,
Yeah.
I am only going to use my sword.
In character.
I'm not going to use any of the prosthetics. I'm not going to use the health bar. I'm just going to trust my sword and then I'm going to jump into battle. That's how I approach Sekiro. I died a lot, but I got the job done. Well, I died to the dance 126 times.
He's losing his stealth with that clanking around.
Yeah. Speaking of bosses though, I feel like FromSoft games always they have this really fascinating character designs, this really fascinating concept when it comes to bosses, right? With Elden Ring, I feel like they have taken it to the next level. The bosses look so horrifying, so grotesque, and so good. What do you guys think of those bosses, like the armed guy and the cat? Like, what were your impression?
I loved it. Like especially like Godwin, the gold, the demigod, right?
Yeah, Godric.
It looks so cool, so cool. I'm sure Shimhaq's gonna be working on some stuff already, right?
Yeah. Once Elden Ring comes out, I'm gonna be working on Elden Ring the whole time. Like I was watching, for that the second announcement during the E3 games, right? The one where we were waiting for the trailer. Like I kind of knew we were gonna get Elden Ring that night, so I was already watching the stream on one side of my monitor, and I was already working on something in Photoshop, like something else. The moment I saw that Wolf Knight, I was like, I'll paint it, and I painted the first piece of Elden Ring fan art faster than the trailer was out, and 40 minutes later I already had the artwork done.
Wow.
I was already on Twitter already.
Yeah, I think I remember seeing that one. That was a very Berserk reference with that wolf form.
Yeah, the lion and the wolf motifs in the game are looking insane.
When I was watching the trailer, the announcement, I was also streaming it from the Twitch, and the chat was on, and remember the moment the dragon, he actually grabbed the lightning and struck the lightning. It was like, what is this blasphemy? People blew their minds. It was insane.
And I actually have a quick and positive observation to make. Being a bit of a boss hunter myself, I kind of get a thrill out of the whole thing. Like the whole trophy hunting gig comes with this sort of thrill seeking. FromSoft has actually done a pretty consistent job of consistently raising the standard of boss battles from the entire Soul series. I mean, if you start from DS1, you had some pretty good bosses. They were great. Ornstein and Smile. Like we can go on a whole separate podcast just naming bosses. So I'll just keep this short. Maybe there was a dip, in my personal opinion, in DS2, but DS2 really had some great bosses too. Sin the Sun.
They had the variety.
Yeah,
ton of bosses.
Yes. And then you get Bloodborne, which is they have some really great bosses. For some people, some of their favorite boss battles come from there as well.
Yep.
And then we got DS3, where we had some of the best. And I'm talking Gale.
DLC bosses were just insane.
Yeah,
they just took it somewhere else with that. Yeah.
Exactly. So, and then you had Sekiro, where they basically perfected the one-on-one humanoid boss fights with Genichiro and Ishin,
Yeah,
like stuff like that. So, I basically feel like they have been improving and evolving their own, high benchmarks and palettes for the boss fights and their varieties. And I feel like they have essentially worked on one-upping themselves. Probably they probably will do that. If there's any, I feel like only FromSoft can outdo themselves, So I feel like that.
yeah.
And
Like going back to even what Tasin was saying, like about the bosses, right? Like the art direction in From Software has never disappointed, like ever. And the concept art that they've already released is looking really, really good. They've already released some sets of artwork for some of the enemies and bosses, right? But trust me, man, like it's probably gonna be insanely good stuff. Like the artists at From Software are just insane. I actually knew one of the guys who worked as
oh,
an
that's
artist.
cool.
Yeah, but it's very sad that he passed away actually even before Elden Ring came
Oh,
out.
that's,
Like it was like last month or something. I was talking to him and he was really excited. Like he was telling me he was working in another studio and they did freelance work for From Software, as in like a third party studio, right? So I think some of his designs are gonna be in there. Like I asked him, he didn't tell me anything about it because they're obviously
oh
gonna be
my,
under NDA, right? But yeah, like he's
it's
an
gonna be torture
extremely
for
great
you.
artist.
It's gonna be torture for you. You're just gonna be wondering,
Yeah,
"Hey, is this his work?"
but he was such a wholesome guy. I was so sad when I
Oh,
saw that news. Yeah, like
very,
really, really good artist.
very sorry to hear that too.
Yeah.
That's a loss. So I guess Tahsin, we can speak. I mean, I think we've done a fairly good job of just expressing our personal expectations of the game. But if we were rounding this up, like Tahsin, you tell us, like, what do you think?
Personally, I think it looks really good. Overall, I really like what I see. But let's talk about. We've talked about a lot of positive things that we've seen and we've observed from the gameplay footage and all. But what was something that we didn't like? For me, I feel like that was probably the sorcery and the weapon could end up being a bit overpowered than they were originally intended. But I'm not sure until I play the game myself. This is just a bit of a concern on my side for now. But what do you guys think? Like, what were your concerns?
I still have a few concerns, but I think Shimhaq, why don't you go first if you got any?
All right. Actually, like to be honest, as someone who has already pre-ordered the game, I can't say anything. I trust From Software. That's what I'm gonna say. Like coming from an year of bad games, that we've seen like tank really bad, like CDPR with Cyberpunk. Like I trusted CDPR with my life, man. Like after playing Witcher, I was really invested in them. I was looking at Cyberpunk, but they kind of they did a really bad one.
That did you
Yeah,
bad, right?
that did me bad. But thank God I didn't get Cyberpunk. I was just following the news on it. I was really excited for it because I was really invested in the entire like genre because this Cyberpunk thing was really cool. It was going off. I really liked it. But then they kind of like completely ruined the entire thing, right? Then they were hit with lawsuits, and that thing was a mess, right? And other than that, like I've mostly been just following some small indie games for the time being. Like they deliver much better, like stuff like Hades, like
Oh,
they
yes.
delivered on their promises, right? And I'm gonna trust From Software because they have done everything to completely give trust to the players because they've done the network test. They've shown us actual in-game across all the platforms, right? It's not just on PC. They've shown it on consoles as well. We know it's not going to be next gen graphics, but what From Software does is not next gen graphics. They do art direction that's insanely good. So we're not going to expect like graphics on the level of maybe Horizon or something like that, but we're going to get art direction that's going to be better than any game that's going to come out. No cap.
Okay. Right, so on my side, I've actually got a bit of a thing. I mean, I Shimhag's point now that he mentioned it is a good point, but since he himself has mentioned that that he has faith in the in FromSoft, I'm good with that point. My point is actually coming more towards on Tahsin's concern, not regarding the overpowering aspect. Like because I'm looking at a bit of a historic view here. Back when DS2 came out, they added a lot of new mechanics, new things into the game, which kind of left a lot of people feeling certain things, certain ways about certain things. And eventually, when they released the Skull of the First Sin, they nerfed, they improved on certain things, they balanced it out, and the whole game was a lot more balanced. Again, for anybody listening in, if you're hearing that DS2 is bad, it's not as bad now. It's probably worth a shot. Just saying. And what I'm thinking is, because FromSoft is doing something which is considerably much more complex and much larger on the scale than what they've done before. Because all the Dark Souls games, despite the amount of freedom that you get, can be assigned to this sense of linearity within a sandbox approach. Like if you go by DS1, you had the filing shrine, which kind of connected every world map area, but you still had the freedom to go around, and it had loose milestones or checkpoints of the story where you do one thing and then you go collect some things again, and then eventually you reach the end. Now, I'm not having any issues with the story narration or the progression or pacing. That's not the point here. With the mechanics in battle, like so many things are coming together now. Stealth, a plethora of spells, long range, short range attack options, all of this stuff coming in. I feel like that players will eventually find out something that is very overpowered, something that can be spammed over and over. Who knows? Like initial game mechanics could lead to something like that. They have historically in many video games. And I feel one of the things that might be coming into play is the summons. Like we just touched on it very loosely earlier, but the Elden Ring makes sure that you can summon not just actual human NPC, human players to summon and help you out in fights, and the NPC summons are not specifically restricted to maybe one boss fight or something like that. I feel, and it's been made clear that there's going to be a lot more options, a lot more freedom in how you can summon multiple beings into the fight, along with the fact that the game's teams have made it clear that co-op can be done up to 4 human players, and world invading is kind of currently kept to ensuring that you can only invade people who are co-oping and not a solo player. These kind of features right now that are highlighted, I don't know how this will pan out, in the sense that some of it might work. Who knows, going forward, people might say this thing is too overpowered or too nerfed, something about that. But that is only a concern that is coming as a person who dabbles in game mechanics, so I feel that the larger you make a game with the larger variety of tools and weapons and gameplay mechanics in hand, there will always be the added probability of getting a situation where you can have overpowered or nerfed situations. That is the only concern that is coming purely from an increased probability point of view from my side. But again, as Shimhaq has highlighted, FromSoft is a studio that is a developer that I can get behind on. I have faith in them to be able to deliver on this, and I feel like from their past ventures, they've learned, they continue to learn what works, what doesn't work. So I feel like I can put my faith in them, even with this slight concern on my side.
Yeah, so that's very lengthy way of saying, please FromSoft, don't disappoint me. I have my full trust in you.
Of course.
Yeah. So this is actually I think we've had a very lengthy conversation about what we can expect from Elden Ring and what we've so far speculated on a lot of it. So this is how we are going to start off our new year. What better way to start off year than talk about our favorite game that's going to come out in like less than a month away, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's definitely one of the favorites I have in mind, because this year, or just since you're on the topic of the new year, this year is gonna be packed, people. Like so many good games coming out this year, and I wager to say that this year might be bigger than 2018 in terms of games, the titles out there. It's gonna be big,
Yeah.
We are talking about one of the big favorites out there, biggest heavy hitters out there.
What do you think, Shimhaq? Like, other than Elden Ring, what are you most looking forward to next year, like this year?
like I'm looking forward to even God of War. Like I really liked what I said. Even though it's not like FromSoft title and all of that. I really like God of War. I'm really looking forward to that one. And some of the PC ports that are coming, like even I haven't played Horizon, so that'll be a good experience. I think even on PC, right?
Yeah.
Gotta play it,
Yeah,
man.
yeah. I'll be playing that one. So yeah,
think
some
you-
of those like.
Yeah, for me, I think it's gonna be Elden Ring for sure, and then probably Legend of Zelda: Breath of the Wild 2. But I don't think that it's actually going to come out. They said it's going to be December, but again, I'm not sure. Like they've just shown just one very brief footage of the trailer, but this is not like we are not here to talk about Legend of Zelda. Maybe we can do that in a separate podcast. So that was our thoughts, impressions, and speculation on the upcoming FromSoft game Elden Ring. Thank you for joining us, Shimhaq.
Yeah, no worries. Thanks, guys, for inviting me on. It's always fun to talk about From Software stuff.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
Shimhaq, I
Yeah.
just want to quickly, state out like your artwork is so cool, man. Like, I mean, I'm looking forward to more of your stuff from the Elden Ring inspired,
Yeah.
I,
I'm
I,
actually waiting for I think like I said before Elden Ring, I really want to do this idea that I had in my mind. For all of the classes, I want to do one piece of artwork, so it's sort of gonna be like if you're like a bloody wolf person, you're gonna be using that one. So I kind of want to put that one out before it comes out, right? And then of course, after it comes out, we all take some sick days and do some gaming. And then once the gaming is done, and once everybody has played it enough, of course, the art of the other bosses and all, which I really can't wait to see all of these enemy designs and all. I mean, I really love the fact that they even pick a lot from Berserk, which I personally love. You guys know this. You guys like
Yes.
it as well, I hope.
Yeah.
So yeah, so all the references just it's so nice because Berserk, of course, like the manga is the only thing that we've ever gotten. We haven't got an anime of it. We haven't got a game of it. So it's really nice that these guys are huge fans of it and they incorporate so much into the games, right? So it's
Yeah.
really such a nice thing to see it coming to life, even in these Wolf Knights and other motifs that are seen in Berserk.
Yeah, that's actually one of the things. Like whenever someone says like we are going to get a Berserk video game, my response is like we don't really need a Berserk video game. We have Dark Souls, we have FromSoft games that
yes.
like heavily draw from
If-
lore, the concept of
If
Berserk.
From Software ever does that collab, man, I'm gonna go insane.
Yeah.
If they ever give that IP to From Software, they're gonna do it justice.
I agree. It's the only people. They are the only people who can do
Yeah.
it.
Well, it's gonna be a very, very long wait till February 25th. I'll tell you that.
Yeah,
Yep.
for sure. All right, so
Yeah.
let's wrap it up for now. And happy New Year to everyone who's listening. And we hope that you have a great year of gaming ahead.